Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. This is going to be a reaction video to the Sixers' tough loss against the Bucks. Last night is my one video for tonight. I will probably have two videos for tomorrow because there will be a look ahead to the Flyers game and a look ahead to the Sixers game and maybe another video in between there. But the Sixers are one of those teams that at this point, especially without Joel Embiid, when he's resting, they kind of need everything to go perfect in order to win without Joel being in the game. And yesterday, that simply did not happen. We let Antetokounmpo really get going a lot in the second half. He damaged Middleton, hurt us in many parts of the game. By parts of the game, I mean he was cold at parts, but then he would heat up and make one of those big shots. That was the big thing with Antetokounmpo. We started letting him make those money shots, which are the shots that start putting them away and giving the Bucks the advantage and the momentum and etc. And we just kind of let this game get away from us due to mostly the fact that, well, we actually limited our turnovers pretty well yesterday. We averaged about 17 a game. We only had 14, granted to their 9. But the Sixers really lost yesterday's game, which they probably could have won, being it was only 107-95 if Joel Embiid was in, because he would have obviously we would have played differently with him through in the game through our scheme, but he would have gave us that point spread to probably win this game between how close it was most of the game until the Bucks took it from us in the end. This is two straight games for the Sixers that they could have potentially won against Thunder, of course, and then against the Bucks. Embiid is expected to play his first back-to-back finally, thank God, on this weekend, so that'll be very helpful. But the Sixers need to simply find a way, because Embiid's going to be a guy you're going to have to rest a little bit during the course of his career, that they have to find a way to be able to win without him, without everything going perfect in that game. They need to find ways to come through adversity without Joel, because we found ways to come through and win some close games and not let teams come back in the end with him lately, since we've been doing good of late minus these last two. But without him, we still struggle mightily. And we've only won, I believe, 2 games, maybe 3 all season, when Joel Embiid hasn't played. And one of those games you did really well. The other, most things did go perfect. And we kind of need everything to go well against a team when we don't have Embiid. And yesterday, the Sixers went 2 for 26 from 3. It's actually remarkable. It shows how well they actually played around, other than the three-point game, to actually stay this close in the game, because the Sixers are a team that typically relies on some big threes in order to get back into a game, or in order to get momentum going. Covington, who's been really struggling of late, would hit a big three. When Redick's healthy, he would hit it. Even Bayless at time. Of late, TLC's hit a couple big ones. Anderson hit some since coming back. TJ McConnell. So the Sixers just need bounce back tomorrow and play a good game against Brooklyn, who is obviously an inferior team to them. They're 18-32, we're 24-23. We have a good bounce back team to come back on. We just can't take the Nets for granted. We have to start hitting our shots, making our threes, because yesterday, really, besides Ben Simmons, besides Ben Simmons and Dario, who both had okay games, and Dario even had a very struggle game, even in his 19 points. His best attribute yesterday's game was his 9 rebounds, because he had 19, but he went 0 for 8 from the 3. Simmons did his part with 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 16. And then we had Holmes come in and do great off the bench with 6 rebounds and 13 points. Richaun Holmes is a very good center off the bench and should be used more, as I've always said. He just shows it again and again. When he plays against the Bucks, he does well. When he plays against many teams, he has done well this year. He should get more minutes, and hopefully we eventually start doing that. But what yesterday's game comes down to is our inability to hit threes and play defense in key situations. The likelihood is the Sixers will bounce back from that and we'll be able to beat the Bucks tomorrow. The Bucks are a good team. We got lucky that we got a team put on our schedule where we played two pretty good opponents back to back and then got a team that should be an easy win. Like I said, we can't take them for granted, but it should be a good bounce-back team to play in the Nets to be able to get going again and get right back on our groove, start hitting our shots, get everyone to feel comfortable again. I really look for Robert Covington to try to get into a groove against Brooklyn, a team that's a little bit shaky on defense, try to get his confidence up again, get him knocking down some shots, because he's a big part to our whole system of being able to create stuff while turn defense into offense. We hear Brett Brown talk about that at times, where we get a rebound. Ben, he always says how Ben does it so well. Comes down the court, turns a defensive board or a break off of a defensive board right into offense. Well, obviously we haven't been as good at that as lately. And Robert Covington's a big part of that because he usually makes those key defensive plays. And he's still been doing some of them of late, but in the past couple games, it has been showing that Covington has looked a little bit off and made a few mistakes on defense last game where he left his guy open or gave him a little bit too much space. And that's known to happen when your guys struggle on offense. And I give credit to Covington, he doesn't let it bother him a lot. But he needs to get going soon, otherwise it's going to start hurting his defense if he keeps struggling like this, because anybody, any human being, any player, any athlete, when your morale goes down on one end, it's going to start to eventually hurt the other end. Well, the Sixers will hopefully win the game tomorrow. It should be a great game against the Nets. This has been a reaction to their loss. Have a nice night, everyone. This is Sports Fanatic News. I'm Joe Boric. Peace out.